This is Danny. I'll be guiding your practice this morning. We'll start with just a little bit of movement, and then we'll dive into a few attention building techniques. Please take care of yourself, honor your body, and feel free to use any props that you need for support, especially when we come into a seated position. We'll start in a standing place. And just remember that meditation is not about keeping your body completely still. If there's lots of pain that's happening through our time, it's totally fine to make a conscious adjustment. It's a little bit of a dance. Do you stay with sensation? Has it crossed the line? Has it become pain? In which case you want to move. And if your mind is very busy at this time, it's an opportunity to just be with the dance. Let the thoughts float and then come back. Let the thoughts float and then come back to our focal point of attention. So come up to a standing position to begin. Stand with your feet hip distance apart or a little bit wider, depending what's comfortable for you. Gradually invite some motion into your shoulders. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. And roll your shoulders up, forward, and down. And pause with your shoulders in a relaxed place. Inhale to sweep, arms rise up to the sky. With your exhalation, palms touch, elbows draw into center, bend your knees, round in. And with the inhale, straighten through your legs, expand out, arms to the side, or cactus position rather. Exhale, again, draw in. Inhale, open, expand, goalpost with the arms, chin to the sky. A few times here to work with the spine. Exhale to round. Inhale to lift. Out breath to round. One more time. Both shapes in your body. Next inhale as you expand up towards the sky, pause. Exhale, return your low back to a neutral place. Relax through your arms. Take your shoulders up to your ears. Bring your hands into fists. Squeeze through your toes. Squeeze your face. Inner legs, hug towards center. Little contraction here with the whole body. Sustain and hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2. Take a deep breath first. Exhale to soften and let it go. And from there, separate your feet wider than hip distance. Lift one heel off the ground at a time to support your knees as you start to swing your torso side to side. Arms super heavy here. If you don't have a lot of space around you, take the hands to your torso. You can still swing, moving the torso from side to side. Ribs rotate. Open through your mouth, your jaw, letting go of any tension from facial muscles. And gradually start to slow down this movement, returning back to a pause at center. Gradually bend your knees, come down towards the earth, mindful here to support your knees. Hands come back behind, final motion here. Feet a little wider, windshield wiper from side to side. Can always shorten the distance between your feet if this is a little too intense for your hips. If you're not getting much, take the feet out wider and explore that motion. And gradually, next time you're at center, pause here. Point your toes out in front. Stretch through your legs, underside of your knees, then a little windshield wiper or little movement of the legs. Right to left, ankles. And from there, take a supportive seat. Use any prop that you need to uplift your spine, cross-legged seat. You can also sit in the diamond pose with the block back behind in between your legs or feet rather. You can also use two blocks or something that looks like a block to create a little bit more height here. Wherever you're at, relax your hands either on your legs or one palm rests at the in the other at center. Spinal column long. If you're sitting on a chair, if it's available for you, have a little space between the back of your chair and your actual spine. Let your eyelids gradually soften partway or completely close your eyes. And take a moment here to land, to arrive in this space that you've carved out. If there's already been activity physically or in conversation with yourself, with others, or if you've noticed that your mind has been processing, analyzing, activating, inviting all of that to gradually recede into the backstage of your experience. Honor however your physical body is showing up, if there's more ease or if there's more tension. And then with awareness, use the power of your mind's eye to focus your attention at the space that's in front of you. Still keeping the eye soft, as if you were visually looking just a little bit in front of your space with the internal gaze from the inside out. Let your breath be in the background as you slowly shift your mind's eye, your attention to the right side of your space. So again, as if you were visually looking to your right without moving your head or using your actual vision. See how it feels to shift attention in a directional way. And keep your focus there over to the right. If you find that your mind goes elsewhere, with kindness and compassion, bring it back to this exploration of the space around you. And gently shift your focus all the way to your left. just a little bit away from your physical body on the left. And from there, move your mind's eye behind you. Notice what you're aware of there, shifting to the direction that's behind your body. It's totally fine if you feel like it's a blank experience. That sometimes can happen, particularly with the backside. And check in with your mind if you're in another thought narrative, conversation. It's totally normal. Same time, opportunity to come back to this little exploration of moving attention. From here, take your focus to the space above you. Taking note of what you're aware of as your attention hovers just a little bit above the top of your head. Allowing whatever else is present in the background, whether it be sounds or noticing of light, your thought waves, to be present, more in the background of experience. Foreground is your ability to direct your attention. And from up above, take the focus down below, as if you were looking a few inches underneath of where you're sitting. And from here, return your focus back to the space in front of you. And take time here, honor your experience, and know that there is no right and wrong with this technique. Simply a little play of inquiry to see what's unfolding for you. And from the front space, start to expand your awareness. So keep your mind's eye focused on the space just a little bit in front of you. And then slowly start to add awareness of the space to your right. Then add your attention of the left, keeping a little bit of the others present. Slowly add what's happening behind you. And gradually layer the space above and the space below. It's normal if you find that your attention is in a little bit of motion here, visiting the different angles. Or if it resonates or occurs for you, envision yourself stepping outside of your body. So as if you were standing and gazing at yourself, observing the spaces all around you, below you, above you. And from here to complete, bring your focus to the center of your heart space. Gently move into the internal experience even more. And from here, find an anchor point to be with your natural, soft breath. That might be at your belly center or the tips of your nostrils, where you can simply be and observe gentle motion, breath flowing in and breath extending out. If there's another area in your body that you observe the breath with more ease, let that be your anchor point. And when you notice that your mind is somewhere else, processing, analyzing, worrying, getting excited over something, gently bring your attention back to your chosen place of focus. Continue to check in where your mind is at. Every time you notice that you're swimming in another thought stream for a prolonged period of time, even if this happens many, many times, with kindness, bring yourself back. Shift attention to your anchor spot, reset. One more time here. Observe where your mind's eye is at. Final minute with this technique, inviting your attention back if it's drifted. And very slowly return your focus to the center of your heart space, allowing your focal point of the breath to complete, fade. As you stay connected to heart center, completing our practice with a little bit of gratitude. For the next little bit, let it be a rhythmic, slow process. Saying internally to yourself, I am grateful for, and then pause with one thing that jumps out at you. Then see if you can visualize that thing for a brief few moments. For example, one of mine is I am grateful for the sun. Then the visualization is myself yesterday actually being in the sun. So I'm connecting it to something that has already happened, or could be something that you're grateful for and looking forward to as well. So taking a little bit of time. I am grateful for, let something pop up, visualize it, and then move on to the next thing. And gently allow this to conclude. And take a moment here to pause, receive, and notice anything that has shifted or transpired for you through this engagement of meditation, attention building, awareness strengthening. And acknowledging exactly where you're at. So these practices not always guaranteed to create calm or soothing. Maybe you're even feeling more amplified emotions that you've been navigating or challenged by. So welcoming all flavors that are current for you. And to yourself, each other's company in this virtual space, gently draw hands to heart. And gradually to complete and acknowledge our time, gently bow head to heart center. Celebrating your wisdom, your strength. Namaste.